We got Daniel House in the house. Gophers Guru, of course, is the place to be for Minnesota football coverage. Daniel, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's training camp season, and like you said, talking season's almost over. So we actually have some football that we can talk about here in the next 10 days.
We saw PJ Fleck just a few days ago at Big Ten Media Days in Indianapolis. We sent one of our guys out there to cover the event, and he came to the same conclusion that I always come to. If you're looking for a head coach in college football to deliver an address at a podium, he's the guy. Nobody better. There's your guy. Absolutely.
Yeah, PJ always is ready and prepared to go with the themes of the season. He's got that well-documented theme that he'll always have at the start of every season that people kind of gravitate toward.
So in terms of your perspective, what is the theme of this fall camp?
Well, it's just figuring out some of the elements of the roster that are unknown. The quarterback position, Max Brosmer is obviously experienced at the FCS level and produced there. It's just all about the translation up to the Big Ten and the speed of the game. The throw shapes are different. The time you have to shape the football, the speed of the game. You got to be able to just adjust to all the components and the processing side of it. The thing that he was really good at in New Hampshire was being able to hit the check down. So I think you're going to see more involvement from the running backs in the passing game, perhaps this season. So quarterback, maybe tight end. Brevin Spann-Ford's gone, so Jamison Gears will be elevated up and do a big role. And a lot of people talking about his route running ability and what he brings to the table. Maybe Pierce Walsh is a sleeper player that could have a smaller role, rotational player at the tight end position. And I'd say on defense, it's all about safety. I mean, there's going to be a heavy rotation back there. Tyler Nubin going to the NFL, getting picked in by the New York Giants. And, now it's Aiden Gooseby, it's Darius Green, it's Coleman Bryson, it's Kerry Brown back there. I don't think you're going to see clear-cut starters back there. It will be a rotation at the start of the year. So safety is probably, honestly, overall in the whole roster, the position that I want to see the most because there's a lot unknown.
A theme at Big Ten Media Days for Penn State was to become more explosive. Now, they are a passing team to a certain extent. They're a pretty balanced team, but of course, it was more about explosive pass plays. For Minnesota, it was that, but it was also just having balance in the pass game versus the run game and believing that they need to get to that place to obviously take further steps forward.
Well, it's a big component, and that's the wide receiver room. I mean, now you're going to have Daniel Jackson obviously leading the way, but who emerges behind him? I mean, that's another storyline in camp. Elijah Spencer transferred from Charlotte last year, just getting acclimated. Can you achieve more consistency from him? He's a productive player at Charlotte. Now, coming into year two in the Big Ten, does he make a leap? Le'Meke Brockington, who's a very good run blocking wide receiver, can he give you something in the pass game? They added Christian Driver, a wide receiver from Penn State. Didn't have a lot of experience, a son of former Packer Donald Driver. He's someone that we didn't get to see a lot of in spring because he was out, but it sounds like he could be someone that potentially emerges to be a player that gives the Gophers something in wide receiver. That depth behind that, I think that's going to be the key overall. Their offensive line, they'll be fine there. They've always developed that position well across the board. And Ariante Ursarey's back, who I think could be in the first round conversation next year as a tackle. He's very talented and is on the radar of a lot of scouts.
Daniel House joining us, breaking down Gophers football. Minnesota goes to camp this week. You can catch Daniel on X. You see his X handle right there, and it's gophersguru.com. Offensive line has been a key to PJ Fleck's success. I'm looking at Phil Steele's rankings. He is going 24th in the country for Minnesota's offensive line. How does that strike you?
Sounds about right. That's pretty close on how I would probably rank it out. Ariante, the cornerstone player. Tyler Cooper's back, an experienced left guard. A center, Nathan Bowe was a starter last year, taking over for John Michael Schmitz. He graduated. So now Greg Johnson, who saw some rotational action at left guard, is going to be the center. So this is his first experience at center. So keep an eye on that early in the season as he transitions into that role. Right guard and right tackle is where it gets interesting. Quinn Carroll played right tackle at Minnesota here recently. Maybe we'll kick into right guard. They're going to have three players sort of competing it out at right tackle. Martez Lewis, who played a little guard and has gotten some reps at tackle to compete in the past. There you got Aluma Nakele, a transfer from UTEP who could compete for the right tackle job, and then Philip Daniels, a very athletic second-year offensive lineman who got a lot of reps during the spring. They're going to let those three compete it out and maybe kick Quinn inside. If they don't feel comfortable with the three options they have, they'll play somebody at right guard and keep Quinn at right tackle. So watch that storyline as we start approaching North Carolina here.
Daniel House, Gophers Guru. Please join Daniel right there. What is the focus of your site this week?
This week, I'll be dropping a feature on a player. I'm excited to drop that. Been working on it for a while. Can't wait for people to read it. And then also just getting ready, previewing fall camp, talking about some of the storylines that we discussed here. And as the season progresses, we'll be continuing the off-season stories series on transfer portal. So you can get educated on some of the biggest transfer portal additions for every team in the Big Ten. So I think I've got 4 parts out now. The 5th part's coming out soon. So keep your eyes out for that.
Well, Daniel, we, of course, appreciate you stopping by. We look forward to the season starting in just a few weeks. Let's see, we are looking at August 1st in 2 days. So we've got an August 24th, week 0. We've got the 31st getting it all started. We got Minnesota on the 29th, of course, with a big national TV date. I know, folks, they're all national TV dates, but you know what I mean. Network television, everybody can see it with the game against North Carolina and a little payback. Possibly in the Twin Cities on the 29th.
Yeah, it'll be a fun matchup. I'm just excited I was able to be on Mornings with Mark here, this brand new adventure you got going on.
Yeah. Start the day right with everyone and give everybody a voice to come on here, get as many great contributors like yourself on here. Obviously, take the calls from everybody here at the Voice of College Football. Yeah. And do what we love, talking college football. And again, I think that's a good spot for Minnesota in regards to a little national exposure. You're pretty much locked in on the Minnesota game right out of the gate on that Thursday night. Absolutely. Something that they, of course, also featured last year at home against Nebraska to start the season.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, it gets you in the homes of recruits on a national stage, free opportunity for exposure. And last year's game was exciting. Field goal right at the end to win it. I think both North Carolina and Minnesota are pretty even from a talent standpoint. So it should be a pretty entertaining game overall.
Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate you stopping by.
Appreciate it. We'll see you soon.